Hello again everyone, thanks for coming back by the channel. Today we're going to do another installation video. As you saw in the title, we're going to install some marker lights in the grille of the ZR2 Bison. To be honest with you, I was kind of 50-50 on doing that, but my kids really wanted to do it, so I decided I would give it a shot. There were two conditions that I had. Number one, the lights had to be recessed in the back of the grill. I did not want them to sit out on the front of the grill. I wanted them to be set back in the grill. And number two, I wanted, if for whatever reason I didn't like the lights or they didn't work properly, I wanted to be able to remove the lights totally from the truck without a bunch of screw holes or mounting brackets to be seen or anything like that. So I went out and looked in the forums and on the YouTube channels, and I saw several videos of these types of installations, but most of them were either, I liked the light they were using, but I didn't like the way it was mounted, or I liked the way it was mounted, but I didn't like the light they were using. So what I decided to do was just come up with my own way of doing my brackets, and probably took a little bit longer than it would take you or it should have taken me, but it's the way I wanted to do it, so I'm pleased with the result. One thing to note is all the clips you're going to see were taken back in May. It's end of September now, so these clips are about 4 months old. I had all this footage racked up, ready to go back in May, and then about 2 days later we had our rear end collision, which I'll leave a link up top so you can go follow that saga if you want to. So video is kind of long, but it is an install video. I just wanted to show everyone the process, so please stick around and we'll get started here in just a minute. And I've come up with something that I think is going to work. If you can see right in there, right behind the grill, there's a thin piece of plastic. It's like a fin, so to speak. I think I'm going to try to drill some holes through the fins in the grill behind here and put some brackets back there, and get them recessed back into the grill, which is kind of the style that I want. So how I'm going to start is I'm going to use this Sharpie, put a Sharpie mark where I think the hole should go. I'm going to start on this end and just work my way down, and I'm going to mark it, drill a pilot hole, then drill the larger hole, and then I'm actually going to use a tie strap to drill my second hole to make sure that I'm as level as I can be to the naked eye anyway. So you'll see how I do that here in just a minute. So I'm going to use this headlamp so that I can see where to make my first mark. Right about there. Okay. So I've got a right angle attachment for my drill to turn this into a right angle drill so that I can get in there and not have to worry about making the hole too far up, too far down, or crooked. So I'm using a very small bit here. I believe it's a 5/64, something like that. I can't remember. It's very, very, very small. So I'm going to look and get it on my, here we go, get it on my spot that I made with my Sharpie, and we'll start drilling. Okay. And now I've changed to a 3/16 bit, which will accommodate the number 8 machine screw that I'm going to be using to install the brackets. So just get it on my pilot hole. There we go. See if you can see it in there. That's what it looks like on the finished product. Now, before I drill the other hole on the other side, I'm going to try to level it up for the next hole so that they won't be higher or lower. It'll be just as level as it can possibly be. Alright, so the way I'm going to do that is I've taken a tie strap that I just had laying around the house, and I've actually cut the tip of it off because it was pre-curved and flopping down. So I'm going to put this through the hole that I just made. And I'm going to make it touch this other plastic fin over here. If you get it just right, it'll stay. So that looks level to me, as level as I'm going to get it anyway. So now I'm going to take my Sharpie and mark another hole, and I'm just going to work my way all the way down. Alright, here's a look at the rest of the holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so pleased with that. So now it's time to go make some brackets. Alright, now that we have the holes in the grill drilled, I'll start working on the brackets. This is what we're working with. Got these at Lowe's. I'll link them in the description. These are 5.5 inch long, and based on my measurements, the way I construct these brackets is just right to center up the light in between the holes in the grill. So this is what it looks like. So what I'm going to do is mark where I want to do a 90-degree bend and mark where I want to cut. So I want to make my 90-degree bend on the 4th hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And then I want to have on this side, or on one side of the hole, I want to have 3 as well. So what that's going to do is when I bend here, that's actually going to give me that much depth, so they'll be recessed in the grill. And when I cut here on one of the brackets, either the left or the right side, it doesn't matter, I'm going to mount the light right here. And I'll show you what it looks like on the bracket on the other side. It's a little bit different, but this will get the light centered based on this configuration. So what I do is get this measured up right, get the edge of this plywood right here in the center of the hole. Just have this little L bracket laying around, so I'm going to use this to kind of get it squared up. Make sure that it bends true. I'm just going to hold it back here and I'm just going to bend it down. So with my little tabletop here, it doesn't get to a true 90 degree, as you can see there. But like I said, it's malleable enough where you can bend it without it breaking. So now I can just kind of do that, get it measured up. Now I got a 90 degree. So now I'm going to take my Dremel tool, just a regular normal cutting wheel, and I want to cut along that dotted line. So I'm going to use a glove here. That piece of metal gets pretty hot with the cutting wheel going through it. Also using safety glasses, as you can see all the sparks that are flying up, and also protecting the eyes from any bits of metal that might come up. So now what I'm going to do is I'll take a sanding tool and on my Dremel, and I'm going to just touch up these areas, get the jagged off of it. I'm going to paint the brackets black, so I'm also going to use that sander to just kind of rough up the bracket so the paint will stick better. So here I'm just going to touch up the edges a little bit, as they're got some jagged pieces on there, and don't want to snag my skin on those jagged edges, so just going to round off the corners a little bit and make it smooth. Not necessary if you don't want to do that. It's just a little bit of extra time that it takes, so I decided to go ahead and do that. All right. That's bracket number 1. So again, this will go on one side. I'm going to use a shorter piece on the other side, and I'll show you how I bend that up. But I've got it sanded down a little bit. It's ready for some paint now. Okay, for the bracket that goes on the other side, we're going to use this. This is a 3-inch piece versus the 5.5 inch that we're making the other side out of. Looks the same. It's just shorter. So again, I'm just going to mark it up and bend it. So I'm going to make my bend on my 4th hole. That way I can have these 3 holes. That's my depth going in, recessed back into the grill. So I'm going to get it bent right there, and then I want to have 2 holes on the other side of the bend line, and I'm going to mount the other side of the light into this one right here. And so based on this configuration, this should center up the lights between the spaces in the grill just like they need to be. So again, I'm going to take that, get it right in the center as much as I can. And I'm just going to bend it down. I forgot to square it up, but it was squared up enough. And so again, when you do that bend, at least on my table anyway, I don't get that true 90 degrees. So I'm going to work to bend it just a little bit more, work it down a little bit, test it. Just a hair more, test it, and there we go. So now I have a 90-degree bend on that side. And so I'm going to sand this one up, just like I did the other side. And then this is what it's going to look like. Again, here's the light. Got 2 screw holes on either side. And screw that there. And screw that there. So where I'm mounting it in the grill is this wide. So I'm going to finish sanding up the pieces. I'm going to get them painted, and then we'll get started on mounting them up. And this is what it looked like when it was finally mounted up. This is obviously before painting. I used some wing nuts and a couple of thin washers in order to attach them to the brackets. The reason why I use the wing nuts is I first started out with the nuts that came with the small machine screws, but trying to get my fingers through the grill and trying to work those onto the screw, I kept dropping them. I lost 5 or 6 trying to do that. So I swapped to the wing nuts. That way I could get better grip on them and get them tightened down a lot easier. All right, so we'll step out into the paint shop, otherwise known as my driveway. Got everything set up here. The brackets are ready for painting. I've already spray painted a couple the other night, just testing some things out. And then I've got my, these are the screws that are going to go into the lights to hold them onto the bracket. So I'm going to black out the top of those just to, so they'll be hidden. I'm going to use this is some paint I had around, paint and primer, satin black, prevents rust. So that's what I'm going to use. Alright, so I'm going to wait about 15 minutes, let it dry up a little bit, then I'll come out and do another coat, and I'll wait another 15 minutes and come out and do another coat, and that should be it. So here's the final result from painting the brackets. Nothing fancy here, just a little blackout so it is hidden very well in that grill. So here's the final result. I got the lights mounted to the brackets mounted to the grill. You can see they are recessed back there, just like I wanted. They are level, even. You can see the screw that's going into the grill all the way down. So I didn't paint these because they're hidden behind here. Out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, overall came out pretty well. In terms of wiring them up, they all come back through here, and then I've got the positive and negative wires splitting off here. Negative is running this way all the way around, connected to the negative terminal on the battery. The positive branches off here. I drilled a small hole into the fuse box cover, and I've got it tapped in to the number 50 place in the fuse box. It's really simple to wire up, even for me. There's more elaborate ways to do this so that you can get the grill lights to come on just by themselves. However, I didn't want to go through tapping into other lights within the system. This was just the easiest method for me with my limited skills and electrical knowledge. But overall, very happy with the way everything came out. The lights are pretty centered up inside in between the holes, and they are recessed like I wanted them. And so if I don't like them, or if they just get to be a problem, or they don't work right, I can simply just take off the brackets, take the lights out, and you'll never know they were there, which is, as I said in the beginning of the video, the goal for this project. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Sorry that it was so long, but I did want to show the full installation of it. I didn't show the mounting of the brackets into the grill, because that's easy to do once you get all the brackets made and everything. That's pretty self-explanatory. So the next shot you'll see is at night. I'm going to wait till it gets dark. I'll turn the lights on. You can see how they illuminate and how they look when they're on in the dark. So again, thanks for sticking around. If you made it this far, really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.